All right, you guys, here's some quick help on that assignment today for completing the square, the first day of doing it. Again, hopefully you're doing the book assignment first. I think this is a better place to start because you'll use that when you're doing the worksheet. Notice, kind of like I mentioned, that these problems look all just like the ones from the notes. So I only did a couple in the notes, but just a little reminder how these work. And I'll do one maybe that has an odd number here, again, just to give you an idea what that looks like. But I'm sure you can still figure it out. You're trying to complete the square, complete the perfect square trinomial, as it says here. And to do that, there's a certain constant c that needs to go here for number 7 I'm going to start with. And we got to be able to figure that number out so that I could make something that would factor to a binomial squared. So that c, remember there's a little formula that works for it. It's b divided by 2, and then whatever you get squared. Again, this formula is incomplete. There is a little more to it, but for today's purposes, it's going to work, okay? And you'll find out when we do completing the square, as long as we've got an equation set up like this, it works the best anyway, and this is when it's easier to use. So that is still a good formula to remember, b divided by 2 squared, but just know in the future, I'll tell you there's a little more to it yet, okay? But for now, for today's problems, it should work nicely, okay? Or at least we can get them set up nicely to work like this. So b divided by 2, so 3 divided by 2 would be 1.5, and 1.5 squared is just 2.25. So bringing this one down here where I got a little bit more room, x squared minus 3x, and it'd actually be plus 2.25, okay? Oops, running a little out of room, but there it is, 2.25, okay? You would write that, but then what it would factor to would be x minus 1.5 squared, and that's what I'd like you to get to. Okay, you should still write this first one as well, and realize that's the c that you're adding. That's the value I want you to know that's what you need to add to make the perfect square trinomial. But here's what it would factor to. Okay, so there's another example, one of those. I'll let you try out those other ones too. But that's how we complete the square when it's just outside of a problem, just us in general making a perfect square trinomial. Okay, then here's the worksheet from today, and I'll just do, again, like maybe a couple problems. I'm not going to do a lot of them, but I'll do a couple of them just to kind of get you started, and maybe show you one thing that I didn't in the lesson video, too, that can happen, especially on this worksheet, and we'll see once in a while. Let me start off with one like, let's say number 3, okay? So I'm going to bring it over here, x squared minus 8x plus 33. Okay, when you're showing work for these, you should definitely show on a separate sheet of paper. There's just not a lot of space on here. But this one is set up nicely, ready for us so that we can complete the square. Some ones down here, like maybe towards the end of the problem, if you need to get that in number 13, move the 70 over first. That's what I would do. And then go ahead and complete the square. But number 3, going back to our problem here, has both x terms on the left side, the constant on the right. So it's ready to complete the square right now. It's set up. B, right, is negative 8 in this case. But I take that and divide by 2 and get 4, and I square that and I get 16. So I'm adding 16 to both sides. Okay, for your first step then on your paper, you could still write this. Gosh, my 8s, okay? So I could write 8x, x squared minus 8x, okay? And then I added 16 to both sides. And then what do I get when I add 16 to the 33? I get 49. So at least this could be your first step here on your paper. I'm writing what I get once I complete the square with that constant I added and what I get over here. Okay. Now you're going to factor. In this case, this goes to x minus 4 and x minus 4, which is x minus 4 squared. I'm going to square root both sides, so I get x minus 4 equals plus or minus 7. Again, remember from the previous days, I get both those options. I add 4 to both sides. I sneak it in the front here to help find my two answers. 4 plus or minus 7. And when I take the high road and the low road, I get negative 3 and 11 are my two answers. You should be able to, you definitely need to find them down below and complete the puzzle, because that tells you if you're doing things right. So I got, let's see, negative 3 and 11. Do I see that anywhere down here? Negative 3 and 11. Oh, there it is. Letter Y. Okay, just right in the middle. 11, negative 3. So, but they're my two answers. Again, I usually put them in least to greatest for Schoology, but this has them in the other order. That's okay. So good. So letter Y there for number 3. Okay. I'll do one more, and again, if you need help with more of them, that's totally fine. Okay. Use the support board or Zoom me. Those are good ways to get a hold of me in terms of asking for some other help. Okay. And again, what's nice about Zoom too is I can use a little whiteboard and just pull that up and then do a problem with you while you can see what I'm writing almost like me writing on something just like this, okay? I'm going to do number 5 because I believe, if I'm looking at it, I'm kind of thinking ahead correctly here, there's something that happens with number 5 that I want to show you with the answer. So this one's important to do with me here too, okay? So on number 5, okay, the variable b is what we're searching for, but I'm talking about the b that's right here, the coefficient of my single variable there. So I divide that by 2 and I square it and I get 100. So I'm going to add 100 to both sides, right? So this one will look like b squared plus 20b plus 100, and then that's going to equal 20 on the right side, okay? Now I've got a perfect square trinomial on the left, which will factor to b plus 10 squared equals 20. I'll take the square root of both sides, so b plus 10 equals plus or minus the square root of 20, some irrational number, but I'll show you something we can do with that very shortly. And then I got to subtract 10 from both sides, okay? So now you may, on number 5, if you've done it already, which I hope you have even before watching this video, because that means you tried it out. Here's what I get. B equals negative 10 plus or minus 20. And notice that this assignment actually doesn't figure out numbers to the nearest hundredth or anything. It actually does just list them like I've talked about how you should leave them in your homework sometimes, or at least to start before finding the decimals. It actually has them as plus or minus like square root of 35, or plus or minus square root of 15, or plus or minus square root of 11. Like it's got that form, okay? I don't see one that says plus or minus square root of 20, so maybe we did something wrong, but no, actually you did everything correct, okay? I'm going to show you just a little something that actually goes into chapter 11, but that we do with square roots. The next chapter we deal with the square roots. We see just a little bit of it in this section too. Square roots are actually pretty versatile, okay? You can break a square root, like the square root of 20, into its factors. Like the square root of 20 ends up equaling 4.5 or something like that, okay? Like that also is the same as if I break that into factors of 20, like 2 and 10, right? 2 times 10 gives me 20. Well, the square root of 2 times the square root of 10 actually equals the same thing. It equals that 4.5, whatever the square root of 20 is, okay? Now, you may think, okay, well, why is that good, or why does that help me to be able to break a square root apart, okay? Well, if you pick the right factors of 20, there's something we can do with this, being that it's a square root. Let me pick the numbers 4 and 5 instead. And now take a look at those square roots closely, okay? One of them you can actually figure out right now without a calculator, right? Square root of 4 is just 2. So this actually simplifies to 2 times the square root of 5. That is the same thing as the square root of 20, but it's like a simpler version. It's just like simplifying a fraction. When you can actually simplify square roots and get them down to a simplest form, and it would be 2 times the square root of 5, which would also be 4.5, yada, yada, whatever that irrational number is. The same thing as this. It's just another form of it. So let's instead go back up to our problem now and write that as our answer. Negative 10 plus or minus 2 square root of 5, which is the same as square root of 20. And I bet this will be over there somewhere. Yep, right here, letter A. Okay? So some of those problems, when you reduce down and you get to the point where you have a square root of a number that you can't, square it nicely, not a perfect square, take a look at the number. If you can break it apart farther in some factors that have a perfect square, like this case, like with 20, then you can probably find the answer that you're needing. Okay? And again, that's something we're actually going to cover in the next couple weeks. It's coming up very soon, but just a small dose of it right now. Okay? Try it out, guys. Do the best you can. Let me know how it's going. Okay? Thanks. Good luck.